Well, welcome on the show, James.
Okay.
We're here in Iowa. That's how you say it in English?
Columbus, Ohio.
Ohio. There we go.
Columbus, Ohio, yeah.
So we went on Ace of Spade. You took AMG V12 with you.
Yeah.
So was it your first rally?
So absolutely, first rally, and by far the most incredible experience I could have ever imagined. Like, It was literally perfect. The people were amazing. Like, literally Saturn in May, best run event I've been on.
How did you prepare for your first rally?
So didn't know what to do, but took a lot of advice from Saturn and May, right? So they gave a lot of good info, but took it into Mercedes, said, asked them to run through the car, just check through it. They gave me advice, they fixed it, did everything they needed to do. I brought all the stuff I thought, tools, whatever, tire plugs, that kind of thing.
So your safety kit. What is inside your safety kit?
So tire plugs, air compressor, a jack. Just basic stuff to get us along.
Anything for the windshield?
No. Maybe in retrospect, probably could have added something. But we had radar detectors, we had an iPad, we had...
You were running everything, and you had a co-pilot on this one.
I did. So Taylor was the man, which we'll get into that story about the wheels, right? So
yes, we will.
Taylor McHenry, like literally, he saved the day in getting a set of wheels. Like literally, it's ridiculous.
So tell me about your passion for car. Where did it start? How did it come to be?
Oh, I mean, so when I was a kid, so I had a 1995 Formula Firebird 350 V8. 6-speed. I love that car. We would tear up the town with it, and that's where it all started. And so when I had the opportunity and the money, this is where it became. I found this car, and that's how I got to here.
Okay.
It was amazing.
So just love all the cars. You've been into cars. You've been racing cars.
Yes.
Now you've been on the track.
Yeah. So been involved with Auto Interests. They do a lot of well-run events, and just up in my skill level.
We had a lot of people. We had 60 cars running the rally. We had a lot of things happen. You are one of the ones that breaks down.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about how it came to be, how it happened, and how you resolved it.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I want to say it was the third day. So we were running on the freeway, heading back. It was the final part of that journey, right? We had just finished the Back of the Dragon, and so we're coming on the freeway, just having a good time, and so I noticed a vibration, pull over the car, and I realized that the tire is completely shot. It's completely cut up and just destroyed on the right front. And so anyway, we call a tow truck, get a tow truck, nicest guy you'll ever meet. He takes us in, tows us back to the hotel. We recognize as soon as we pull that wheel off, that the rim, which had been repaired, is no longer it broke on the weld where they repaired it. So we couldn't just put a new tire on. So we had to source a pair of wheels, get a new set of tires, and try and rejoin the replica. That was the goal. And so we were up. Go ahead.
We passed you. I was with Urata, and we were in the meat pack.
Yeah.
And we passed you, and everybody was stopped with you at that little gas station.
Yes.
Thingies. And I can see the car just lifted into the air.
Yes.
And we pass, and we keep going with the mid group. Turned out the mid group became the front group. And then one of the questions is, when are you coming back? Because once a rim goes, usually we were in, how do you say butt fuck nowhere nicely?
BFE. Yeah, so we were at BFE, Tennessee. We had just crossed over Tennessee from Virginia or North Carolina, I forget now. And so we had just crossed, it was Virginia, so we had just crossed over. And yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere. And so we called the tow truck, he gets us back to the hotel, and we pull that rim off. And so we literally that night, we go out, we have a good time, have some drinks, we go back to the hotel. We're on Facebook Marketplace. Like, literally, we're trying to find a set of wheels that will fit this. So we're looking at, bolt patterns, hub circles, all of these things, like, 390 millimeter rotors, right? We're trying to get a rim that'll fit a minimum 19 inch. So we got to find a 19 inch. We got to find it fast. So Taylor finds one. He texts like 6 people on Facebook Marketplace. It's ridiculous. The next morning, 8 o'clock, this guy calls or texts back, I forget. And so he says, hey, I've got these rims. I'm an hour and a half away. I'll bring them to you. We negotiated on a price, $1,000 for a set of Audi S5 wheels. And so he says, I'll bring them to you. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
That seems insane.
At
right?
that stage, the price, but the fact that he brings them to you means you can keep going, which at the end of the day is what you want. You want to keep going.
And never mind the fact that we had, let's say, had one too many drinks the night before. Let's just say that. So anyway, at about 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm trying to secure a set of 19-inch wheels. Or, tires, right? So now I got to get a set of tires to match the wheels, right? And so Discount Tire saves the day. So I called them at about 9:30, something like that. They get a set of tires to their shop there in Knoxville, Tennessee. As he's rolling in, Discount Tire calls me and it says, hey, we got your tires. They just got delivered to our shop. Bring in your wheels. So we load up the wheels. We go in, we get them mounted, or we drop them off rather, and we go to lunch. And as soon as we sit down at lunch and we're finishing up, Discount Tire says, hey, we're done. You can come pick them up. And then as soon as we go back to them, right, we get on the road, we stop at a CVS, and Andre in the C8 Corvette, he says, hey, what's your update? Where are you guys at? He's like, or we say, hey, we just got rims, we just got tires, we just got finished up. You will not believe. He sends us his location at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. On the next day, he says, we're 4.5 miles away.
Yeah.
So we meet up with him and we connect with the rest of the group.
I've seen that on the man chat because between the man chat and the radio, at some point I noticed that you guys connected with some of the group that was running. I'm like, you're gonna be back, because I kept asking, where is the white AMG? Where is the white AMG?
Yeah.
So the funny part, because there are so many people, people by their card, not necessarily their names yet. So at that point, I was still asking everybody, where is the white AMG? And at some point, I got an answer. He's with me. We're rolling in. I'm like, amazing.
I like it. Like, there was nothing that could have gone more smoothly, other than having the exact set of rims that I had. Like, that is the only way.
So it is funny that you drive a Mercedes AMG V12 and your front wheels are Audis. Silver at that.
It's silver, completely wrong offset. Completely wrong offset.
They rub a bit when you turn a lot.
They rub when I turn a lot. They are the worst, but it got us down the road. And that's at the end of the day,
you finished the rally.
We did not get a DNF.
The only thing worse than a DNF is a DNS. When you're at the start, you're like,
right?
We lost one person on the Sky Bridge in Toronto. So just at the start.
Right, the Lotus, right?
Yeah, Pac-Man.
Yeah.
So he joined us with his Porsche, and that's sad when that happens.
Yeah.
And the issue, and that's one of the things with my car that I was worried about. I never ran my car. I did the oil change just before. You saw me hammering into it.
I know.
You saw me remove the wheel delete so I can actually move. And with older cars, you don't know until you've taken them how they're going to behave. So it was really interesting. So for me, the fun part is that there was a moment in time where we did a little pool, and turns out my 16 line is as good as your V12.
Without question. Like, the Skyline is just absolutely an amazing car. Like, it was fun to run with you. It was amazing to watch it go. Like, there were multiple, like, the first time we had run together, was probably
Early on.
That was Lynchburg, right?
It was
I think
early
it was
on, we ran together, then later on we ran together again.
Yeah, so I was thoroughly impressed, and just like Antonio's Ferrari, right? So
12.
those were so both of you was really fun to run, like to listen to watch them go. Obviously, it's well maintained, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
If it's a 20-plus-year-old car, you got to think about there's a lot that could go wrong if you're not maintaining it. So that was key.
Yeah. So for me, one of the things I've learned and discovered is that you don't drive necessarily with the people that drive at your speed. You drive with the people that have the same driving style as you.
Yes.
Was it the same for you, or how did you change group? Because I know you run in the front, you run mid, and just after the tire change, you run behind a tiny bit until you're like, okay, we're good, then we can go.
Yeah, so that was a bit weird. So I started at, let's say, in the slow group, in the slowest possible group, and I was just trying to get my bearings. And so then I attempted to step it up, and then by the end of the rally, post rim incident, we were running at we'll call them the fast group.
With me?
And yeah, right? And that was a lot of fun. So doing the passing drills and doing all the slingshotting, that was really fun. And so yeah, it was a bit of a progression over time. Getting comfortable.
Yeah, well, same thing for me. When I started, I was taking it easy. Then as you get comfortable, both with your car, if you've never done it, which you didn't and I didn't,
no.
Then you understand how your car reacts, you understand the roads a bit more, especially if you're Canadian like me. We're not used to the US roads.
Yeah.
They're way better, they're different, so that was interesting. Claw of the dragon, back of the dragon, and tail of the dragon.
Yeah.
Some of those are fast, some of them are slow but very sharp turn. What changed you? Where did you have the most fun? Tell me a bit about the dragon experience.
Yeah, so the back of the dragon especially. So I kind of, what was the second?
We started with Claw of the Dragon. That's where we had some challenges with police.
Yeah.
Because some of our team members were
Aggressive
is the one way to put it. Then we back of the dragon, which everybody tells me was the hardest because it's the fastest you can go.
Yeah.
And then we had tail of the dragon.
Yeah, so I think the back of the dragon was the most technical for me, especially so this car is infinitely heavy. Like compared to a McLaren or the Skyline or a Porsche, it is several hundred pounds heavier. So as you know, with the back of the dragon, it gets progressively sharper.
Yes.
Okay, as you get towards the top. And so that became the challenge, is turning the big car around that was the biggest challenge.
Are you four-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive on this?
Rear, yeah.
So that's an extra challenge because if you put one tire in the dirt, you're losing
it's over.
everything.
On that road, it's over, as you know.
So
like some of those, and that was what is your opinion on the undulation? So if you'll remember, so the car at some point was kind of with the undulation.
This car, the Skyline, was designed to run the mountain roads of Japan. So because of that, the chassis is very, very steep. And what I mean by that is that if we jack the front point, the front left, the front right, and the rear left tires are going to lift off the ground.
Same with this car. If I jack that point, both wheels will come up.
3 wheels or just 2?
Just 2.
Me, it's 3.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so much more.
I have an entire corner lifting off the ground. So it is super steep. The suspension is also very steep in it. There was only one turn out of everything where I went a tiny bit too hot and I didn't feel comfortable because what I wanted to do, and that was my decision, I wanted to have a good experience doing it all.
Yeah.
So I went 10 kilometers per hour, so maybe 5 mph, less than where I would feel like I need to watch out what I'm doing.
So that's a big deal, yeah.
And just that little difference means I didn't have to look where the line is. I didn't have to look how much I turn. I could just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You had that 5, and that's the thing. You may not think it's that much, but on those turns, on those corners, that 5 mph more than 10 kph more makes a huge difference between a clean, easy line and squealing your tires the entire through the turn.
Yeah.
My tire squealed through one of the turns immensely. I was at the edge of friction, and it felt good the entire way. But that one time, I came into a turn, and they're all blind, and I didn't feel it. I had no one behind me. At some point, the DBX was following me, and I had some distance, and I will admit I broke out before the turn because I didn't feel comfortable, and I let the car coast through the turn, which you're not supposed to do. But I had that little moment where I am not in control of this. Most likely I was. Most likely everything was fine. And that's the thing. It's about your mindset as much as it's about the car. The car would have taken the turn 10 mph, 20 kph faster. No problem.
Right.
But me, at that one specific turn, the way it weaved, the way it went up, the way it went down, the way you couldn't see, the way you had oncoming traffic, I went, cheek butts went, I went like, okay, brake, and coast through the turn, and everything fine. Then I slam it into second and punch it.
Yeah.
But I had that one turn where I was like,
yeah. So so with this one, it's just it was a lot to get it to rotate. Yeah, like it was effort. Like I wish Taylor were here, so I told him to come over, but it was like it was like it was a constant effort trying to get the car to rotate, just getting into the throttle enough to get the car to rotate around each of those turns. It was interesting.
So when you went up, there is many times where in the turn you have a curve, but it will go up then down.
Mm-hmm.
On the up, did you feel the car lift and losing traction?
No. So with all the luggage that we had and its weight, there was zero issue. This car, yeah, that would be a different story.
Because in the Skyline, like
I can
3 or 4 times, we went up and I feel the suspension raise. I'm like, oh, I'm floating now. That is a very interesting sensation when you have a turn coming at you at 90 degrees and you feel that you've lost 60% of the weight on the car.
This one is so heavy, so planted, and especially with the big V12 up front, it's just, as soon as it gets into the motions, it's smooth.
So, V12.
Yeah.
Gas consumption.
Okay. I was shocked. I'm glad you brought this up.
Good or bad?
I am glad you brought this up. I was shocked that I was getting 18 miles per gallon on average on the 2,000 miles we ran. I was absolutely stunned.
So when we were running fast, now you know that because everybody has seen it, there is a point where my speedo stops in kph.
Okay.
So I asked people what speed we're going.
Right.
There were points for me where I wasn't looking at the speedo or the tach, I was looking at the fuel meter going down, and that told me my speed. Did you have anything like that during your run?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
How big is your gas tank?
Honestly, I don't know exactly. I know it's more than 19 gallons. I think it's about 20.
Okay.
I think it's about 20.
So I am almost half of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Yeah.
This is where you understand that the preparation of the rally, because obviously I can go really far when I'm driving normally, but when we're doing
spirited
rally driving,
right,
the gas goes down.
It does. It goes quickly. Yeah, I agree.
Are you excited for your next one?
Absolutely. I can't wait for the next one.
Which car are you gonna take on your next one?
I think it'll probably be that one. Just the racing seats in that one are just not conducive.
That looks terrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll go through that later.
If you could take any car in the world for the rally we went to, so all the Dragon and everything, which car would you pick?
Any car.
Any car. From any era.
Man. It would be my dream car, which is the Koenigsegg. Koenigsegg Agera.
Do you think it would be able to make it?
From a mechanical standpoint, or just from
a
practical?
front lip perspective.
From a what?
Front lip.
Oh, front lift. I have no idea. I have zero idea.
I'm afraid you would lose parts on the way.
Probably.
That's the issue.
And that's okay. I'm okay to lose parts.
It's not that the road was rough, but some of the gas entrance were quite steep.
Oh, I know, right? There were so many where I was questionable. I'm like, ugh. Luckily, this thing, I can hit a button and it'll lower or raise. So that's nice.
I can do the same thing. I hit the gas, the front raise. I push on the brake, the front goes down. Same thing. It's 2 buttons.
It's 2 buttons. There you go. There you go.
You have another one, another
Yes.
12.
Yes.
That one did not go on the rally.
No.
Tell me a tiny bit about it.
So this one is a purpose-built track car. It's actually, consequently, more powerful than that one in terms of torque and horsepower. And it's 600 pounds lighter than that one.
That's a lot.
It's a whole bunch.
Yeah, that's a lot of McDonald's not in the truck.
Yeah, and it is absolutely a rocket ship. And it's tough to control, and I love it. So this one's all go, that one's all show. It's kind of the
Not really. We went all go in this one.
Well, that's true, and we still had a good time.
Come on. Well, thank you so much for everything,
Absolutely,
and I'll see you in the next one.
that's right, Jordan. So much fun.
Thanks for watching our videos. Hope you like them. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have time, go check us out on other social medias to see what's going on.